guys, and welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for coming. My name is Mackenzie, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. So as you can tell by the title, this is something different for my channel, as I have decided to make the change to a true crime YouTube channel. This is something I kind of wanted to do for a while, but I kind of was talking myself out of it, and I was also really busy, so I didn't have the time to dedicate to it. But as you all know, we are all quarantined, as you can see by my hair, which needs a haircut. So I decided that this is the perfect time to start a true crime YouTube channel, and the main thing that I want to focus on with my channel is covering missing person cases, because this is something that really hurts the African American community. When African Americans go missing, they don't really get the news coverage that other races might get, and not only that, but the communities that they live in do not always have the resources to organize big search parties. So I decided to make the change, and I hope that you all support and be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. So for my first video, I wasn't really sure where I wanted to start because there's so many missing person cases. But after I did a lot of searching, I came across this case that I feel really embodies why I want to do a missing persons channel basically. And the case is Asha Degree, and this is actually somebody who went missing over 20 years ago. She went missing in 2000, but the thing that is important about this case is that the family is still working hard to try to find her, and even most recently the FBI posted basically an update about her, and basically was just saying if you guys have any information, to please reach out to them, and I will give that number in the end that you can call in with tips. But I will also link down below the FBI's updated video on her on their YouTube channel. So Asha Degree was from Selby, North Carolina, and when Asha Degree disappeared, she was sadly only 9 years old, and her family has not seen her since. Asha Degree disappeared on February 14, 2000 from her family home. Asha Degree grew up in a two-parent household and had an older brother named O'Brien. Her older brother was only 1 year older than her. So the night before she disappeared, it was a regular night in the Degree household. They were a very tight-knit family. They were a loving family. The parents were also kind of, I guess you could say, conservative, or sheltering of the kids. They made sure that they didn't come into any harm, or at least they tried to make sure they didn't come into any harm. And they basically just knew everything that was going on in their kids' lives. So the night before she disappeared, Asha decided to start going to sleep around 6:30 p.m. and this is because she was tired from the night before, as she went to a slumber party. And we all know from when we were younger, at slumber parties, you don't go to sleep, you stay up all night having fun. So the next day she was very tired. However, it began to storm, so around 8:30 she actually got out of bed and she went to watch TV with her mom and brother in the living room for about 30 minutes before she returned back to bed. This would be the last time that Asha's mother ever saw her. So following that night, her dad came home from work, and he got home around 12:30. He was actually working a late shift because he was unemployed before, so with this new job, he was trying to get as many hours as possible to make ends meet for the family. And when he came home around 12:30, he peeked into his kids' bedroom because they shared a room, and they were both there sleeping. After that, he went into the living room and watched some TV for a few hours, and he checked on the kids one more time around 2:30, and when he checked on the kids, they were still sleeping and everything was fine. Little did he know this would be the last time he would ever see his daughter. So throughout the night, O'Brien heard a lot of noises. The first time it was actually Asha getting up to go use the bathroom, and the second time he figured that she was just moving around. Little did O'Brien know Asha was actually getting up, packing a bag, and leaving the house. And this was the last time that Asha was ever in their family home. So when Asha left around 3:15 to 4 a.m., there were a lot of witnesses that spotted her and told the police, when the missing case actually unfolded, they told the police that they saw her walking down Highway 18. And there was actually one driver who, when they saw her, because it was still raining and she looked so young, they were concerned why she was walking by herself. So they actually pulled over to ask, hey, what's wrong? Why are you out here alone? When they did pull over, they actually scared her and she ran into the woods. This was the last credible sighting of Asha. Next morning, Asha's mom went to go wake the children up, and when she went to go wake Asha up, she realized that Asha wasn't there and her bed also wasn't made. This was out of Asa's character, as when she would wake up, the first thing she would always do was make her bed, so she couldn't really understand why her bed wasn't made. The family began to look throughout the house for her, and they could not find her anywhere. And they also looked across in the grandmother's house, who lived across the street, and she also wasn't there. At that very moment, the family knew something was not right, and they called the police and filed a missing persons report. Immediately, a search party began to look for Asha. Police came out and brought police dogs out. Unfortunately, due to the rain, any scent of her was wiped away, and the police dogs could not pick up on anything. They also did not notice any signs of forced entry into the house, so they believed that Asha did get up and leave on her own. Since the police dogs could not pick up on anything, North Carolina Highway Patrol came out, and helicopters were infrared, but they also did not pick up on anything. The search party continued, but nothing was seen until 2 days later, when belongings of Asha were found in a chicken shed in the woods. Now the thing is, when Asha got scared and ran into the woods, this is where this chicken shed was located. And in it, they found candy wrappers, they found a headband that belonged to her, and they also found a pencil. So they knew that Asha had went into this area when she got scared, but that's all that they knew. They didn't have anything else leading them to where Asha was at that moment. Later, the search was actually called off because they could not find Asha anywhere. They couldn't find any more clues. However, there were still small searches that were going on. The family, of course, kept looking, but the official search was called off. And there was no news in the case until about a year later in 2001. During a construction project, Asha's book bag was found in a bag and was wrapped up and was put basically in the dirt. And this was really alarming because Asha was only a 9-year-old, so of course she did not put her book bag in a construction zone, which means that somebody else was obviously involved in Asha's disappearance. That there were no more leads in the case. Any other leads or suspects that the police uncovered, it never led to anywhere, and they basically had no idea what happened to Asha. And that was until May of 2016. A tip came in, and it was that Asha may have been seen getting into a dark green Continental Mark IV or possibly a Ford Thunderbird. So this was a really good tip because they could see who in the area owned that type of car. And that's why it's very important if you see anything to speak up, because this came in 2016, but imagine if the person would have spoke up years ago, basically 16 years ago, where this tip could have led the police. So that's really all there is to this case. To this day, nobody knows where Asha Degree is. Her family still hopes that she's alive, but they really have no clue where she could be if she's alive, who took her. Of course, Asha was only 9 years old. Although she did leave the house on her own accord, a 9-year-old cannot be hiding for over 20 years and not get caught. She's not of an age where she could get a fake ID or anything else, because of course she was only 9 years old. Makes it a lot of theories in this case. The first theory is of course pointing to the parents. The parents were trusted by Asha. She would, of course, listen to anything they want her to do because those are her parents. This theory does not hold much weight, as of course the parents called the police immediately. If the parents were involved, they probably wouldn't have called the police literally almost the same hour that they noticed that she was missing. Not only that, but the parents also agreed to take a lie detector test, and they passed the lie detector test. Now, of course, lie detector tests are not 100% accurate, and they're also admissible in court. But the fact that they would agree to take a lie detector test and then pass the lie detector test just kind of lets us know that they did not have any involvement in. Another theory, and this is the most likely theory and also the most sad theory, is that she was abducted and she's in either hiding or she was killed. I think that this is most likely what happened. I think that as Asha was out, most likely she ran into the wrong person, and they most likely abducted her and either killed her or they're holding her hostage somewhere. Hopefully, more clues will come out so that the family can either get the closure they need, or Asha can get out of this circumstance to be reunited with her family. But this is the most likely theory. The last theory is that Asha passed away somewhere in the woods due to the elements. It was a cold, rainy night, so more than likely people believe that she succumbed to the elements and she passed away. However, I'm a little hesitant to believe this theory, only because the area was searched thoroughly, and it's been 20 years, so I believe that by now something would have been found. but of course we're not going to rule this out, but it's just not as likely as the other theory. The leads in the case actually came from Baron Ramsey, who was a person in the county jail, and he also went to schools with Asha's mother. So his story was that him and another guy were driving back on Highway 18, where the driver, who was not Baron, it was his friend, ran over Asha, and when he killed her, he picked up Asha and put her in the trunk. When he picked her up, he dropped Baron Ramsey off at home, but the driver kept Asha in the car. He went to Moss Lake and dumped the body according to Baron Ramsey, but however, Moss Lake hurt several times and Asha's body was never found, so this was basically a dead end for the case. Unfortunately, the family celebrated Asha's 20-year anniversary. Well, not really celebrated, but more mourned that it's been 20 years that she's gone, and she still has not been found. So I'm asking that if you have any tips, to please call and please help to unite Asha back with her family. And her family, I'm hopeful that she's still alive and out here somewhere. Any tips or information should be called into 704-672-6100. Or you can also call 704-484-4822. The FBI is offering a $25,000 reward for any tips or information that would lead to solving this case, and the county police office is offering a $20,000 reward for any tips or lead that would solve this. Please be sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below. Keep hope to show your support in bringing Asha Degree home. I'll see you in my next video, and have a good week.